Hello, welcome. I've had to start this multiple times. I keep stumbling over my words, which tells me that there's some sort of message that's ready to come. So let's get into the tarot reading for today. The energy I'm bringing in is forward looking. So I'm really kind of future focused. So I hope that there's a lot of future focused information here that we can use in this reading. We're going to get the energy from one card in this oracle deck. Risk. Well, that actually made me feel excited when I saw that, which is interesting because I'm usually very conservative, like protected against risk. I always have many, many plans. So me naturally, as a reader, to feel a level of excitement around the word risk is very out of ordinary for me. So this is an energy coming towards me. Felt like I needed to explain that. It's not a natural response. My natural response would be like fear. So to be excited with a word like risk, that's not my energy. Okay, so this card says, the clams on the rock presented an interesting opportunity for the daring crow. Despite the raging waves that threatened to pull the crow into the water, the bird held its position long enough to grab a piece of clam meat. I'll show you the cards so you can see this while I'm reading. You may need to assess if the reward is worth the risk, and if it is, now may be the time to take a chance on something you desire. Risk brings to your awareness an opportunity that others might forego out of fear. As a result, you may discover there is less competition, opening the door for you to succeed more easily. Okay, still feeling excited, and very aligned with this forward-thinking energy. I did get these new Kipper cards. Never used Kippers before. I'm kind of starting to get interested in doing Lenormand, which I've also never really read. I'm not a huge fan of Thoth, but I guess I just am looking to add to my repertoire. I'd like to keep these cards hidden here. We'll look at these later, see what they are. It's a newer deck. Two of them came out stuck together, so I won't be surprised if they're just stuck together because it's new. But let's get into tarot here and see what we have to say about risk. I'm going to start in career, money, finance. It's usually where I start with my reads. Lately, the Hierophant reversed. Especially in this area, I read this as poor advice. Somebody who, and we've got the World reversed too. Something that needs to come to an end. Let me get some other cards here. I like to use these decks in combination. You're not feeling very good about this situation. Ready to move on. Okay. Looking for security. Okay, so I'm not sure if the area of risk is in this area or not. We definitely have in the area of finances, money, career, job, whatever you do for work, something around receiving bad advice or someone in your energy not being as knowledgeable as they make themselves out to be. That's especially in this position is how I read the Hierophant in reverse. Potentially like a swindler type of energy. It could also be an energy of somebody who maybe is not as knowledgeable as they think they are, and they dole out a lot of advice, and it's not great advice. Okay. And we have a World card here in reverse, meaning an ending, something needing to come to an end. I'd much rather see this upright, but there is some sort of halt, limitation, something around this ending. And you know what I'm really noticing? The red bows, lamescates on this wreath here today. It's almost like an infinite loop that will never end. That's what I'm noticing about this card today. Caught in a loop, caught in a cycle. Heavy emotional energy around this. There's some aspect of you that's wishing it would have worked out differently. And some aspect of you that's ready to move on and move into a position where you feel more security. I mean, when I'm thinking about risk, is the risk this moving on? Possibly, but it doesn't look like where you are is very good. So I'm not sure that it's that big of a risk if you're leaving something that's behind that's needs to end. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's look at relationships. What's going on there? Oh no. Material trouble. We've got the Five of Pentacles. And we've got the Six of Swords in reverse. More stalled energy around relationships. Very likely tied to this since we have the Five of Pentacles. It's like you can't move on from these relationships because maybe you're tied to them. It could be a work situation. These are, maybe you have good relationships with people that you work with, and part of the difficulty in moving on is having to disappoint them or leave them, you know. Do we have more clarification here? Ooh, Four of Wands. God, there's something about this relationship that feels like a long-term commitment, like you've committed to something and you don't want to leave it, no matter how difficult. Like it's kind of a for better or worse energy. So it could be a relationship, a partnership of some type. Could be a romantic relationship, but it could also be a work relationship of some type. You know, platonic, professional. But definitely you're feeling like you're committed to this. You've made some type of commitment, and that's what's holding you back. We've got the Judgment card here. To me, this Judgment card is saying that you're almost like waiting for something above you, something bigger than you, to come in and bring balance into the situation, almost setting you free. Like an actual judge setting you free, or someone who owns a company finally selling it and setting you free. I mean, something. It's like there's someone big and powerful setting you free. What do we got here? We had a lot of cards come out. I don't know if these are all the cards for this reading. This is kind of same energy. Same energy as we were talking about here. It's about work, someone more powerful coming in and making a decision, bringing some difficult period to an end for you. Okay, so we've got Four of Wands in reverse here in the action that you need to take. And that action, I mean, you've got this Four of Wands up right here in this relationship area. Like feel like you have a commitment that you can't break, and you're waiting for somebody else to make that decision for you because you don't want to. And then in the area of action here, you're being guided to take the action of breaking that commitment. Even if it feels like trudging up the mountain, You may have to be strategic about this, about how you progress towards breaking this commitment. We've got a Druid of Swords energy here. This might be the person you're severing ties with. It's a very powerful energy. Somebody who's really, really clear thinker, very logical. They might be very persuasive and very convincing in their argument. Someone who's very, very intellectual, very smart. But they have a lot of power and a lot of knowledge. And I think this is the person you're severing ties with, and part of the reason you want someone else to make that decision. Like, this is rather intimidating energy. Okay, I need more. Any more about this Druid of Swords? Oh my gosh, this is so strange, but I think this is saying this person's going to travel somewhere, and that's going to be your opportunity to make your exit. Like, when they're distant, when they're far away, like, it's not like you're fleeing or whatever, but it's going to, I don't know why that's the message that I got, but it's like this person's going to take a trip somewhere. And I think that that's going to be your opportunity to finally commit to moving on. Maybe it will give you some time separated from this individual. Like, you'll have time apart, so you'll be able to get your ducks in a row a little bit. That might have something to do with it. Okay. All right, let's see what else is going on here. What are you thinking about? That's really on the mind. How are you doing in mental health area? How's your health? Foolish, you feel fool in reverse. I'm always using up the space here. Let me scoot these over. Nine of Pentacles, not too shabby. I feel for some of you, you feel like it's a little foolish to want to be independent and to move on and be on your own for some reason. There's some, it's going to take strength. This is on your mind. On your mind is being like your own person, separate, doing this on your own, and it's going to take a lot of strength, and that might be why this new beginning feels a little foolish, because there are no guarantees. That's the risk right there. You don't know how this is going to turn out. It feels like it's a huge risk, and it's going to take more time and energy of you that you almost feel like you don't already have, or you're a little fearful of the amount of strength that you may need to pull from to make this a reality. And that feels foolish, because there may be some type of security here, but I don't know. I'm not sure what this commitment or this relationship is. I'm not sure if it's a romantic relationship, platonic. It might be all of the above. Like, it could be all sorts of different scenarios depending on who you are. This is general. There's nothing else left here. Let's move into the area of advice. What information does higher self have for us about this? The Devil. Fortune's Wheel, upright. Ace of Stones, reverse. Interesting combo. I don't really want to say it this way, because I feel like this tends to be a very common theme lately, but it's what I see, and I feel that the higher self is communicating that There are things in this world that we tie ourselves to, connect ourselves to, that are not for our greater good. And that's the devil energy. You know, whatever this might be, it could be a toxic workplace that offers financial security, and you remain in the toxicity because of the fear of losing that financial security or abundance. That's just one example of the energy. In general, it's about staying in an energy of being tied to things that are really not in your best interest. But there's some reward, there's something that feels good about it, is what keeps you in. I mean, if it felt horrible in all ways, you would just steer clear of it and it would be an easy tie to cut. It's the devil because there's pleasure in it as well. Like there's some reward or some pleasure in it as well, and that makes it a difficult tie to cut, and why it keeps pulling you back in. That's devil energy for sure. And the wheel upright is saying, you know, fortune's wheel, that the energy is moving in your favor right now. Like you're in a season where the opportunities for you to sever these ties, if there was ever a time for it to work out for you, to walk away from any devil energies that are holding you back, it's now. Because the wheel is fully upright in your, sorry about that. I'm just getting confirmation. Bubbles in my throat. Happens every time. If there's ever an opportunity for you to walk away from something that you know is not good for you in the long run, it's now. And we've got Ace of Stones here in reverse. I feel for many of you, this is around money or finances, possessions, earthly things. Like, welcome back, Tower in reverse. Came back, this was earlier. Chariot in reverse as well. Heartbreak, sorrow, 3 of Swords in reverse. And what's this? 5 of Cups in reverse. These are some good reversals. Oh, well, this is very clear. To me, this is about moving at a slower pace, not having lots of disruptions or surprises, almost like a boring season of life that's meant to be healing for you in many, many ways. Lots of time, quiet time in thought. I'm surprised I haven't seen the Hermit. 2 of Cups. You have to choose this path. It's a quieter path. It's a gentler path. It's a path towards healing. That's the risk, and that's the independence that we're looking at here. I feel for some of you, it is moving away from whatever this financial situation is here, whether it's work. For many, it is work. And choosing this quieter path. Well, this card popped, but it didn't come out. What is it? Ace of Cups. This is screaming love, beauty, like emotional, like a really deep-rooted self-love and abundance and awareness. Like it could end up in romantic love, but it starts with you as choosing a path that's in your best interest at a heart-centered level, at an emotional level. Not a path that's in your best interest financially, though. Anything else? Well, this is definitely forward thinking. We've got the Chariot again in reverse. Your guidance is slowing down. Really, and the risk is in this slowing down. You may be somebody who has a lot on your plate, a lot of responsibilities. You may be juggling a lot of things. And this direction is all about completely not halting, but really like putting the brakes on and slowing things down so that you can focus on healing. Okay, what are our confirmation Kipper cards here? Interesting. Well, like I said, we had 2 cards that were back to back because these are new. We got the 12 and the 13, so they came out because they were still kind of tied together here. But we've got a wealthy man and a privileged lady. I feel like that's the energy you're walking away from. Yep. No wonder it's hard. Financial security and everything that life offers is pretty nice. Okay, well, this is your reading for today. If this reading resonated with you, if you want to see other readings like it, I would appreciate a like or subscribe. Thank you.